this one's going to feel a little bit meta. But as we were working on the new format, as you and I obviously were talking about it, a question arose, which is like, maybe it's time to not redefine, but maybe just update what it means when we say chasing excellence, what the bigger picture idea behind the show is, and maybe even track us through what was it when we started this? We didn't really know what it was when we started it. Like it was a cool title, and then we've kind of lived into it. And so I'd love just to chat a little bit about what it means today, and maybe where it came from, and what's changed, and why it's changed if it has.
Love this conversation.
Yeah.
Obviously, we have it every week. When we started this 7-8 years ago, whenever we did, chasing excellence was about being a high achiever.
Mm-hmm.
It was about doing something really special in a chosen endeavor. We really leaned into athletic excellence and business. So those were the two things that at the time I was trying to put all of my chips in on.
Mm-hmm.
Over the last almost decade, that understanding of what excellence is has evolved. To me, today, chasing excellence has something to do with being a high achiever. But if it's a high achiever in a single endeavor, that to me is not what we should be chasing.
Mm-hmm.
That is something that you're going to get a lot of attention for. People are going to be really interested in you, but it doesn't mean that you're going to end up fulfilled.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, there is no greater pursuit that any of us could have in our lives than to have a life of passion, purpose, joy, love, peace of mind, well-being, vitality, longevity, and centeredness. That to me is what excellence is. That is what we should all be chasing. I don't know if it's the elusive bar of soap that the harder we squeeze, the harder it is to hold on to it.
That was, but yeah, okay.
But to me, that is what we should all be chasing. We have been led to believe that success is on the other side of achievement, and you have success when other people envy your position. This 8-year conversation that we've been having has evolved my perspective on that to be something quite a bit different.
Mm.
And I believe that it starts with this idea, this understanding that when we are on our deathbed, we want to have the ability to look back and say, yes, I'm so glad that that's where I spent my time. You know, if there's a question we should all, what is the one question we should ask ourselves? What is the single question we should ask ourselves all the time that will help direct us at all times?
Mm-hmm.
And to me, that is, how can we best spend this time on earth?
Mm-hmm.
Because the relative component of how long this is, we don't even know. Is 100 years long or short? To get kind of meta, we don't know how long that is. So forget about the length of time you have here. You have a set amount of time. You don't know if it's going to be 10 years, 50, 100, or 150. And what is that? Because the dragonfly that lives 24 hours doesn't think it's living 24 hours. It thinks it's living a whole life.
Mm-hmm.
How are we going to spend the time that we have here? And the easy thing to chase is bigger, next, and more.
Yep.
That is solely based from an evolutionary perspective on our biology. we chase bigger, next, and more because it enhanced our ability to survive. If you had one goat, you had a better chance of surviving than you have no goats. If you had 10 goats, you had a better chance of surviving than you have one goat. If you had a flock or a herd or people working for you with tens of thousands of goats, your chance of living through a bad winter or two were so substantially higher than if you had that one goat. That's why that's built into us. If you had a plot of land that you could call your own with a substantial shelter on it, you had such a better chance of surviving than if you had nothing and you had to forage for your next place to lay your head that night. Well, if you had acres of land and running water and electricity and servants' quarters and a palace and people serving you dinner, like that level of more ensured your level of survival. The rich lived longer than the poor. That's been baked into our survival mechanisms. If we stay at that survival level, which we can go to a supermarket and get all the food we could possibly ever want. I forget, you don't have to go to a supermarket anymore. You go on your phone and any food that you want is delivered to you at any, yet we have never been in our world, we have never been solved for the outside better. The outside it's solved. Like the house you live in is I don't care. I don't have to see your house.
Right.
It's insane.
Better than the cave.
Compared to 10,000 years ago. It's insane. You drive a dope car. You could get food, any food delivered to your house. You get almost anything delivered to your house within 2 hours or 2 days. All of these outside things, we don't have to worry about it anymore. The man with an empty stomach has one problem. The man with a full stomach, 1,000. We have full stomachs, so we have 1,000 problems. We are now able to question our existence. We can now evolve our consciousness. But what we are societally still rewarding is the person who has the doper car. This conversation, chasing excellence, is about evolving the conversation above, you should go to law school, Patrick, because you'll be able to get a better job and you will ensure, in air quotes, your survival. That's why they want you to go to law school. That's why they want you to become a doctor. That's why they want you to become a CPA. That's why they get you a sure job. They want you to marry somebody that fits the bill because they know that will help you live a life that at least you're not going to be abused and battered. We need to evolve. This is excellence. This is not chasing mediocrity. This is not chasing survival. And if we stay at that level of conversation, that's what we're doing. And what we don't realize is excellence is about fulfillment. It is about living lives of passion, doing what sets your heart on fire. It is living a life of purpose. It is about growing and making humanity as a whole better, not just yourself. But in order to do that, you have to take care of yourself. And that's why health is such a big conversation that we do. You cannot fill from an empty bucket. So if you are sick, you can't help people. You are now a liability and not an asset. If we want to evolve as a species, we've gone through some of these massive transformations from the Industrial Revolution to first starting with the Agricultural Revolution. Now we don't have to hunt and gather. We can actually settle down and have societies, to the Industrial Revolution, to the technology. Now we're in the midst of a healthcare revolution. Well, let's evolve our sense of well-being. Let's chase the right things that will make us happy in terms of not pleasure, but happy in terms of fulfillment. And that is what the conversation is. That's what chasing excellence is. Let's make sure that we're steering towards the right things, keeping balance at all times, not just chasing one. This is the thing that a lot of people, you chase one thing as hard as you can, all in, and you get the accolades, awards, achievements, and people applaud you, but other things have fallen apart and shattered. It is about making sure that we're maintaining the balance across all things, not only the 5 factors which fall into health, but are we living a life of love? Are we living a life of true, meaningful experiences? Are we living a life of health, of leadership, helping other people become better versions of themselves and helping the less fortunate? And are we growing, evolving, and becoming better ourselves and as humanity as a whole?
Thank you so much for watching this clip from Chasing Excellence. If you are not yet subscribed here on YouTube, please hit that button to ensure you don't miss another clip or another episode. Also, find us wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. Just search for Chasing Excellence and you will find us. Ben and I thank you, and we look forward to seeing you out there on the road toward excellence.